Have you ever wondered what it would be like to become a superhero at 15? Imagine waking up one day and realizing your destiny is to follow in the footsteps of some of the greatest archers in the comic book world. This is the story of Sissy King Jones, better known as Arrowette, a young heroine who found her path in the DC universe by facing challenges, exceeding expectations, and proving her worth in a world of superheroes. Our story begins on a fateful night in Star City, on December 4, 2010. Little Sissy, with her shoulder-length blonde hair and large brown eyes, was being tucked into bed by her father, Burnell Jones. It was an ordinary, everyday scene that happens in thousands of homes every night. But fate had other plans for the Jones family that night. Suddenly, the window shattered, and a shadowy figure burst into the room. It was Black Spider, an assassin known for his brutality. In a matter of seconds, he grabbed Burnell and dragged him out the window. Horrified, Sissy ran to the window just in time to see her father being thrown off the building. Sissy's heart stopped for a moment. Was this the end of her father? But then, as if by magic, an arrow cut through the night air. It was a foam arrow, cushioning Burnell's fall and saving his life. Sissy looked up and saw, on the roof of the neighboring building, two imposing figures, Green Arrow and Artemis. The two heroes confronted Black Spider with a barrage of arrows while Sissy watched in awe. At that moment, something changed inside her. The adrenaline, the fear, the relief, all mixed into a unique sensation. It was as if destiny had touched her shoulder and whispered, "This is your path." But how does an ordinary child transform into a superhero? Sissy's path was neither easy nor quick. Over the following years, she trained tirelessly. Her mother, who had briefly been Miss Arrowette, shared with her the secrets of archery. Sissy practiced for hours on end, perfecting her aim, developing her strength and agility. In 2017, at 15 years old, Sissy finally felt ready. She created her alter ego, Arrowette. Her uniform, inspired by Artemis, covered almost her entire body in black and red tones. A red mask concealed the upper half of her face, protecting her identity. Her hair, now longer and a bit darker, was tied in a messy ponytail. But being a teenage hero is no easy task. Sissy had to balance her normal student life with her responsibilities as Arrowette. She joined the team, a group of young heroes, where she found friends and mentors. But the real challenge was just beginning. In 2018, the world of superheroes was shaken. Batman and Green Arrow, two of the greatest names in the Justice League, decided to leave the organization. They took their protégés with them, including Sissy. It was at this moment that she joined Batman's new secret group, becoming part of a younger vigilante squad. Imagine the pressure on Sissy's shoulders. She was no longer just an apprentice but a full-fledged hero, working alongside legends like Batman. Every mission was a test. Every decision could mean the difference between life and death. One of these missions took place on September 12, 2018, in Gotham City. Arrowette, along with Robin, Spoiler, and Orphan, was tracking the infamous Mad Hatter. Adrenaline coursed through her veins as they followed clues through the dark city. Finally, they arrived at an abandoned warehouse. But what seemed like a simple capture mission turned into a nightmare. The Mad Hatter they were chasing was actually Clayface in disguise. The ensuing fight was intense. Sissy used all her skills, shooting arrows with pinpoint accuracy, dodging the villains' attacks. At the height of the battle, when it seemed they had the situation under control, the real Mad Hatter revealed his presence in the worst possible way, by blowing up the warehouse. Amidst the chaos of fire and debris, Sissy and her teammates had to fight not only the enemy but also the clock to escape. It was at this moment that Sissy proved her worth. With calm and determination, she helped coordinate the group's escape. Her trick arrows, specially designed for situations like this, were crucial in clearing a path through the burning wreckage. When they finally escaped to the safety of Gotham's night, covered in soot and exhausted, Sissy felt a mix of relief and pride. She had faced one of Gotham's most dangerous villains and survived. More than that, she had protected her teammates. But a superhero's life rarely offers moments of rest. In 2019, the world of heroes underwent another major change. A meeting was called at the Watchtower, bringing together the Justice League, the team, and the outsiders. Sissy, along with the other junior members of Batman's team, was called to attend. Imagine the scene. Dozens of superheroes, from the most experienced to the novices, all gathered in one place. The air was thick with tension and anticipation. What would be the purpose of this meeting? What new threats were approaching? To Sissy's surprise, the meeting resulted in an unexpected decision. She and the other junior members of Batman's team would rejoin the team. It was an opportunity to return to their roots, to work more closely with heroes their age. But it also meant leaving behind the relative safety of working under Batman's direct mentorship. The year 2020 brought new challenges and revelations for Sissy. On April 18th, she found herself involved in a complex mission in Star City. Along with Arsenal, she was monitoring Artemis, who had been followed to the Royal University Library. What started as a simple surveillance operation quickly turned into something much bigger. Artemis' pursuer was revealed to be Onyx, a defector from the League of Shadows. She brought with her an alarming warning. Cassandra Savage, the infamous Vandal Savage's daughter, was planning to infiltrate the team by posing as a defector. Sissy found herself in the middle of a cat-and-mouse game where nothing was as it seemed. Her mind raced, trying to discern the truth among layers of lies and half-truths. Who was really telling the truth? Onyx or Cassandra? The situation became even tenser when, during an escort mission, Sissy noticed a laser sight aimed at Cassandra Savage. Without hesitation, she threw herself in front of the shot, taking a tranquilizer dart meant for Savage. This act of bravery, putting herself in danger to protect someone who might be an enemy, demonstrated Sissy's true heroic character. But not everything in Sissy's life was action and danger. On September 16, 2020, she attended an event that marked a break from the constant battles, Connor and Gannis' wedding. It was a moment of joy and celebration, a reminder that even in a world of superheroes and villains, there is room for love and happiness. However, peace never lasts long in the superhero world. In November 2020, Sissy faced one of the most distressing situations of her career. Oliver Queen, Dinah Lance, Sorling Raquette, and Denny, close and dear people, were poisoned during the kidnapping of Perdita Vladek, the Queen of Letava. Imagine the weight on Sissy's shoulders as she watched her mentors and friends in comas at Royal Memorial Hospital. The helplessness in the face of the situation, the anger against those responsible, the fear of losing those she loved, all these mixed in her chest. Her analytical mind immediately pointed to Count Vertigo as the main suspect. After all, he had a history of attacks against Letava royalty. But Will Harper raised an intriguing question. What would be Vertigo's motive, since he was no longer in the line of succession to the throne? This question led Sissy on a journey of investigation and self-reflection. While keeping vigil by Ollie's bedside, she remembered how he had saved Perdita's life 10 years before. It was as if the past and present intertwined, showing Sissy the legacy she was carrying. But there was no time for long reflections. Tigress called Sissy for an urgent mission. It was time for Arrowette to take action again. The ensuing mission was one of the most dangerous and complex Sissy had ever faced. She was part of Alpha Squad, an elite team assigned to rescue Queen Perdita. The briefing revealed they would have to face not only physical enemies but also the mind control abilities of the formidable Queen Bee. The team prepared meticulously. Miss Martian provided garlic pills, a trick to help resist mind control. Sissy checked and reloaded her arsenal of special arrows, knowing each could make the difference between success and failure. When they finally arrived at Madinat Al-Thawati, Sissy's heart was pounding. Adrenaline coursed through her veins as they infiltrated the facility where Perdita was being held. The plan was audacious. Pretend to be under Queen Bee's control to get close to Perdita. The tension reached its peak when Queen Bee and Count Vertigo arrived. Sissy had to use all her willpower and training to maintain the facade, pretending to be under mind control while closely watching every move of the villains. The crucial moment came when Simon, another villain with mental powers, woke Perdita. Vertigo, believing he had the upper hand, began to explain his nefarious plans. It was at this moment that Sissy and her team revealed their true game. In an explosion of action, Arrowette and her companions attacked. Arrows flew, powers were unleashed, and a fierce battle ensued. Sissy used every trick in her arsenal, every skill she had learned over the years. Amidst the chaos of battle, Sissy had a moment of clarity. She realized that everything she had trained for, every challenge she had overcome, had prepared her for this moment. She was no longer the scared little girl who saw her father attacked. She was Arrowette, a hero in her own right. With Perdita rescued and the villains defeated, the team made their way home. The victory was sweet, but Sissy knew it was just one battle in a much larger war. Returning to Star City, Sissy rushed to the hospital. There, she witnessed a miracle. The coma patients, including Oliver and Dinah, began to wake up. The relief she felt at that moment was indescribable. It was a powerful reminder of why she had chosen this path, why she continued to fight day after day. But even in this moment of joy, Sissy couldn't help but think about the future. What would the next challenges be? What new villains would emerge? And, more importantly, would she be ready to face them? Sissy King Jones' journey from an ordinary girl to Arrowette is a story of courage, determination, and growth. She faced unimaginable dangers, overcame her fears, and kept rising, no matter how many times she was knocked down. Her story reminds us that heroes are not born. They are forged through their experiences and choices. Sissy chose to use her talents to protect the innocent, to fight against injustice, even when the personal cost was high. But Arrowette's story is far from over. New chapters are being written every day, with every mission. And who knows what surprises the future holds for our young heroine. As we reflect on Sissy's journey, we can't help but wonder. If you had the talents and abilities of a superhero, what choices would you make? What kind of hero would you become? And so, we leave Sissy King Jones, Arrowette, ready for her next adventure. But one question remains, hanging in the air like an arrow in flight. In a world where the lines between heroes and villains sometimes become blurred, how will Arrowette navigate the ethical and moral challenges that will inevitably arise on her path?